The brand you develop, the personal brand you develop online, is about creating subconscious touch points in a cycle so that when the timing's right, the people that you meet, the people you develop a relationship with as part of your audience will think of you first. I see AirPods. Do you like them?
Yeah.
You love them? No, you leave them in. That's fine.
No.
You know, the funny thing is, I wanted to talk about AirPods anyways for this because I was in New York earlier this year, and the one thing I noticed about New York, more than anything, because I've been to New York a couple times, is every single person we walked by had AirPods this time, which was crazy.
The wires are gone.
No, they're wireless. Everything's
wires are gone.
wireless.
Those wire headphones are gone.
I don't listen to that much music, but so I don't need headphones that often. We sometimes use them when we're editing, but it surprised me. I didn't expect it because in Canada you walk downtown Edmonton,
right,
and not everyone has AirPods in.
Not yet.
But the way that just the brand recognition of every single person in New York having it. It's this fad that just exploded in that area, and it's going to keep coming. So anyone in Canada.
Do you know they're launching
AirPods too, right?
AirPod Pro.
That's
what they're calling it.
I just saw it. It was it's noise canceling. It has.
The same Beats. I think technology that they're using it because Beats has the option for the noise cancellation, and in fact Bose as well. Bose,
yeah. No, it's crazy, and they just all those headphone companies and Apple just found their way to
get into the market,
and it's so visible. Like I said, every person I walked by had AirPods in, and it just was so visible that there's so much recognition for that product. It just becomes that fad that everyone just goes from a marketing perspective.
However,
I love it.
The Bluetooth headphones were available in the market a long time before that. You talk about those what do you call them? The Sony ones.
There was the wireless ones. There was Bluetooth ones that were out, but they just didn't have the same impact until it was. I talk about this all the time. As soon as a product becomes the ease of access is at the top level. As soon as the ease of access and the ability for that product to give you instant feedback to your purchase is there, then it starts to take off. And that's what AirPods were.
Yeah.
You could buy them at the Apple Store, come home, connect them to your phone within seconds, put them in your ear, walk down the road.
Yeah, do whatever you want to do.
That instant access to the product was the difference for the reason that they took off compared to the Bluetooth options that were out before it. And you see that with a ton of products that come out before their time.
And they didn't promote that as a Bluetooth wireless thing. They didn't promote it that way.
No. And the other thing is when you look at Apple, I hate using Apple examples because everyone's heard them before, but I think this is an important one that plays to the same theme, is when the Palm Pilot was out before the iPhone came out, everyone had the stylus and they were touching the Palm Pilot but what I'm talking about for that instantaneous feel wasn't there because you had another step. You took out the stylus, and I think it's in Steve Jobs' movies, and he talked about it where you have your finger as your stylus. You didn't need the extra step.
Yeah.
So they failed. They didn't make it in comparison to as soon as the iPhone came out and the iPod Touch, they exploded because that instantaneous feeling and touch to the products you purchased was there from the start.
Yes.
And anybody, it doesn't matter if you're selling a product or a service, can recognize that instantaneous, the faster you can make your service, the more likely you are for that product to succeed. And that works for financial services as well.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
So
now everybody, the thing is what I believe is the kind of banking world is changing.
Well, no doubt, yeah, for sure.
Every financial institution is becoming more digitized, automatized, accepting those kind of...
You have to, yeah.
New features, you can say that.
Yeah.
the less they are in touch base with direct people. So the people who are older generation, like baby boomers or even generation Z, not generation Z, like generation X, they don't feel connected with the people when they go and see and meet people in the banks, because every time there is a new person, there is not the same Lucy who was sitting at the desk
for
waiting
the last 10 years.
For the last 10 years. It's like constant changing. So people are losing the touch or the feel of talking to someone who is taking care of their finances. I think that's why the need of financial advisor is becoming, and financial planners is becoming very, very important, and it's increasing.
It's why it's escalating. So if I think back to my bank, when you go in now, they're removing the tellers. You just have the machines. And you walk in, you use the machine every time. You don't talk to anybody. They're removing the human component, the relationship component that was there before. But the thing that I think they're missing, the thing that I think banks are missing right now is, yes, they're removing the human component, which has a cost-saving aspect, which has a futuristic aspect, which takes them to the next level. What they're missing is, when they lose the relationship side of it, they're not doing enough on social. They're not taking enough risks in telling their story on social to allow those relationships to rekindle and redevelop. And it's leaving a massive hole in the financial industry, where there's going to be the opportunity for the Wealth Simples and for some of these other branded online options to take hold of the marketplace and take out market share, unless they can revert and start taking those risks and getting out, doing more social, getting on things like TikTok, like getting out and telling the story.
So see, bank cannot do itself. The people in the bank has to be like wise enough or understanding this about this enough that they can start implementing. Building or a corporation cannot do anything unless the people are being trained or being educated that way to take leverage of the social media, or be out in the market, or be out in the social community, or whatever. Like, try to, like, every banker have a different personality. Every person have a different personality, but how they are creating an impact about, like, whatever they do in whatever position that they are in any company. Right? That's how I see. Like, I saw the opportunity when I started working with IG Wealth Management. I said, like, this is the company I want to work with. Because this is
taking those steps forward.
Like, I was working in a bank. I was doing the 9-to-5 job.
The normal, you were in the system.
I was in a factory system. And I realized that, hey, you know what? I have my BCom, I have my MBA. I did my financial planning. I didn't learn all of this by selling credit cards.
The normal system stuff that they push you through to do.
So I didn't anticipated that to happen to me, and I get frustrated inside, and I didn't understand what's going on with me till the time I said, like, hey, you know what? I know that I need to do something. I have a lot more to offer to people than just sitting on a desk calling people and doing 9-to-5 job and
and
selling credit cards and mortgages to people.
I really think, though, that it's more than that, right? So it's the frustration of people working in those positions that are in the system, right? As well as the system itself. The banks themselves are frustrated because their market share is getting chewed up by all of these other options. Look at credit cards, right? Like, most people now that are looking for a credit card go compare credit cards on a comparison site online. They're not just going to their bank and automatically grabbing that credit card. They're getting referred from those. So every time, this happened in a lot of industries where companies are now giving up margin to online. And it was things like Expedia for hotels and flights. Right? So now Expedia takes the margin from the hotels. Now the hotels want to grab it back. Then you have the banks, the credit card comparison sites send the leads through, take a piece of the margin away. Now the banks are fighting to get that back. So what happened was all of these early adopters of online ads were able to gobble up market share so fast that the big companies had so much red tape they couldn't change fast enough. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that we see any client make, big, small, medium size. They just don't change fast enough as soon as they implement the procedures, and they have to find a way to continually change. Yeah. In the online world now, we do not ever plan more than 6 months in advance. Because what's true today might be true 6 months from now.
But not more than that.
But not more than that.
Yeah, that's so true.
So we really, I mean, sure, you can have 5-year strategic plans. Yes, you can look far ahead. But at the end of the day, 6 months, what audiences are looking for now might not be true 6 months from now.
That's true.
So you have to keep correcting and keep changing and building that content.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're rolling. We didn't even sound the sound, so I think we're just going to sound the sound at the beginning. Same with Komal Kaur, is that how you say your last name? Kaur? I'm bad with last names, so I just don't even try them. And you are a financial advisor in Edmonton, Alberta.
Yes. Tell me. I'm a financial consultant.
Financial consultant, okay, yeah.
With IG Wealth Management.
Nice.
So,
So you made the change from the bank to IG Wealth Management.
Yes.
And you said earlier... Become an entrepreneur, kind of, you get to work your own hours now, you're not in the system.
I'm not in the system, yes.
Which is good, and now let's talk today. I mean, I think one of the cool things we can talk about today is, as a financial consultant, the importance of what you do in developing relationships online, but also the importance of networking in real life too. Yes. Still the belly to belly, which is important to meet people and develop that relationship.
Yes, we'll talk about that, and I also want to touch point on the shift that is happening in generations these days.
Yeah,
that's the point that I want to make.
We'll start on that now. So the generational shift. What do you see with the generational shift? And then let's go back and forth on that.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, that's a good way to start because it changes it up a bit. We talked about banks for a while, so.
So the thing is, like, I listen to a lot of bits and pieces of like how people are promoting themselves on social media, especially financial advisors or people who they all talking about transactional business. They all talking about what is RRSP, what is a tax-free savings account, what is spousal RSP, what is this product or that thing, but they're not talking about the overall, that this is just one part of it. Investment products are just one part. I will say it's products, but they are not products,
it's
right?
Products, yeah, totally.
They're not talking about the overall financial plan aspect.
Yeah.
Right?
But they're not building the relationship.
They're not building the relationship.
Yeah.
Get it done, get it over. Right?
We talk about that all the time, and listen, anyone who listens to this podcast with me will get sick of me saying it eventually, but we truly believe that value always equals value, and that's not going to change.
Yes.
And unfortunately for a lot of people, real estate agents, financial advisors, financial consultants, they often make the mistake of selling in the products that they're selling at that time of year when they're popular, and they're just trying to get that one person, the ROI from their post, to come right back to them through a lead where someone can come up and sign up with them.
Yeah, people are telling me that too. Like, even when I talk to advisors, like I have done a lot of sponsorships throughout the year, and every time I talk about these sponsorship, I have a business coach now, so I talk to him and he's like, "Why are you worried about the kind of money that you're putting in? This is just like, at one time when I did my first sponsorship, I was like, holy cow,
you were nervous.
That's a big chunk of money going out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Will I get that money back? I don't know, right? So I did it in any way.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I made nothing out of that particular sponsorship. But I gained a lot more in return, not because of the money I invested in, just because the intentions I put in.
Yeah,
right?
and
I believe the universe see that, the intentions that you put into anything.
Yeah.
How it rewards you back in a different way.
Well, okay, so we could say it's a universe. I'm not going to say it's a universe, but what I'm going to say is listen, what you're doing is 100% right.
Yes.
What you're doing is you're purchasing a attention, you're purchasing eyeballs, you're purchasing the ability for your name and recognition and brand to get out there. And we talk about this. We talk about this all the time, and this is going to be fantastic for a little clip because essentially what you're doing is you're putting out a sponsorship, and you're not expecting ROI in return. What you're expecting is attention. You're expecting branding.
Yes.
What that brand now develops is you're now top of mind.
Yes.
I have kids one day. I'm going to need an RESP. Okay. I will now think of you at top of mind if I see you in multiple places and you stay within my subconscious cycle. Okay, Komal, I saw Komal at this event. I saw her. I will remember you, and when the timing's right, I will make that call. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean I needed an RESP that first day I met you or at that first event. Mm-hmm. So it's important for real estate agents specifically, financial consultants, financial advisors, recognize that the brand you develop, the personal brand you develop online, is about creating subconscious touch points in a cycle so that when the timing's right, the people that you meet, the people you develop a relationship with as part of your audience will think of you first and not go other places. That's the power of branding. That's the power of online. And too many people go the other direction and just say, I have an RESP, call me. Well, guess what? Nobody's calling unless the timing's perfect.
Yes.
And it's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Exactly.
And it doesn't work.
Yeah, you're right. Like I just read that here. Nobody wants to be sold.
No.
But everyone is looking to buy. Mm-hmm. But only when they are ready to buy.
Only when they're ready.
Ready to buy. Yeah. And only when there is a need for them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Not many people are aware of the importance of having a financial plan, right? So plan doesn't mean that, you bunch of numbers here and there and then it's done, right? Or selling you insurance or selling you the investments and blah, blah, blah. It's about are you ready for tomorrow when anything happens in your life, which technically gonna happen regardless.
Yeah.
In whatever situation.
Life hits you.
Mm-hmm. But are you ready for those downturns in your life?
Well, I don't know stats off the top of my head, but I do know that there's a significant amount of people that live paycheck to paycheck and don't have that plan in place.
They never had, and they never understand, right? Especially because my clientele is becoming more of elderly people, and also with specifically I would touch point on the widow woman. Mm-hmm. So that's naturally becoming my market and my clientele.
Yep.
So
as you find your niche.
I'm not sure yet. Yep. Maybe.
As it develops. Yeah.
As it develops, right? But I do focus on women education a lot because I see a lot of women. I inherited some of the clients and I built some of the clients as well. So in the meanwhile, I realized that women have so many questions related to their money or finances, and they're worried about what they can do if anything happens. But since they have someone significant other, or they don't care about those things. Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think that goes both ways. I think some men too, the other way,
same way. And when the life hits them with something which they never expected, they don't know who to go to. They don't know what to do, how to deal with those kind of things.
So it's a combination, like you said, it's a combination of getting out there and networking, getting out there and spending money on marketing to get eyeballs and attention wherever you can optimize that amount of attention you're getting. Mm-hmm. Being aware on social that you're telling a story and offering value out to the market where people can remember you and allow them to know you, right? I say this all the time too, right? You could be outside walking the dog and shoot a piece of content for social media, and your audience will get to know you and understand you better.
I'm a little bit lacking these days.
But that's fine, right? That's not.
But at least I'm somehow somewhere present. I'm posting something on my stories or even something on my social media.
Allow your audience to get to know you.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, you now have every single person starting a business now is a marketing agency. There's a ton of influencers that say that they're their own marketing company. It's your personal brand. You carry that throughout your entire career.
Yeah.
And recognize that all the people within your network, your audience, within your sphere, they need to get to know you. We have an advantage now because they can get to know you online compared to before. You always had to meet them and have a handshake.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you still need to meet them and have a handshake. In a lot of businesses today, you still have to do that.
You're right.
However, you can start the relationship or get a warm relationship or a warm contact point before you meet them and do that handshake through social.
I started that when nobody knows me, who I am, and when I didn't even know what I'm trying to do, but I still started somewhere, and I thought like I need some sort of presence on social media, otherwise people will never get to know me, right? Then I started something. You
kept trying things.
I kept trying things.
I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
I tried, in fact, creating my own videos, which I still have it, and I still need to continue that. Right. And then I thought, okay, I rather focus on. Then I get to a phase where, should I give it to a marketing company and let them deal with it, or should I keep on doing myself? Right.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I did give it to marketing company. But then I realized that's not authentically me. Then I took over that power from them and started doing on my own. And then these are like trying and testing phases that I went through.
Well, you made the right call. So the thing with social media, I think that a lot of people do is social media takes up a significantly more time than people think it does.
Yes,
like so much more
so
time.
much time.
So this is the thing. The rule of thumb that we say now is always, whichever industry you're in, focus on one platform with 80% of your time, and then divert some of the content natively that you make for that platform to the other platforms to maintain a history across the board and still be validated. But you really only, as one person, have time for one platform.
Technically.
The top influencers in the world, even the ones that have content built for them, still are making the posts and answering the questions themselves because it's the most authentic thing to them.
Yes.
As soon as you off-source your personal brand to somebody else and they're answering the questions, now your audience doesn't know if you're answering it or if someone else is answering it. And that's not what it doesn't help you with your personal brand from authenticity standpoint.
Yeah, and I will lose a track of it. At some point I will lose a track of it.
Yeah.
And I will never be able to get back to that kind of phase and fill the gap in between. And there's I was like, okay, I was giving them instructions every week.
Totally.
But
takes just as much time.
But it was taking the same amount of time in any way. I was like, why I'm doing this?
No, we've seen that, and I think you hit the nail right on the head. At the end of the day, when you're building up your personal brand, you have to focus on being authentic and answering those questions yourself, putting out those text strings yourself so that your audience knows it's you.
Yeah.
The only thing that you can do on a personal branding side is you can have some of the outsource of videos getting shot for you and edited for you.
Yeah.
You can have some of the content get created, but your audience always has to know that the person posting and the person that's answering the comments is you.
Yeah. That's what I
Otherwise, they're going to see through it. Or if they don't right away, eventually they will.
Because, what I felt like, and when I give power to the marketing company, they were doing whatever they could find online or whatever they know the best that they are doing for maybe some other advisors or similarly that, right? Yeah. Because they cannot think the way I think. They cannot be authentic like I am.
It's a misalignment in industry though, Komal, because at the end of the day, most agencies that are just putting out that content, you know how much time it takes you, right?
Oh, yeah.
So in industry, the misalignment is the fact that social media, in theory, to do at the highest level, would cost a lot.
Yes.
So for most creators, it's not feasible to have all of the content and management outsourced.
Yeah.
What you can do instead is outsource pieces of get a video made, get a professional videographer.
That's what I do then.
And that's what and
that's exactly what I do now.
And you figured it out, right?
Yeah. I said I better hire a photographer, get a photo shoot done, and post one by one at certain time frames, and probably have a schedule. I cannot follow a schedule, but it's supposed to be a schedule.
Yeah, you got to stay consistent, but still, if you're posting, that's still better.
Something I'm posting at least once or twice in a week, or at least I'm filling my stories at once in a day, once or twice in a day, at least like my profile is coming up in front of people. Now, like I don't have a huge audience or I don't have a huge following.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to me anymore. Like numbers are not mattering to me.
Do not worry about shares. Do not worry about likes. Do not worry about comments. Because remember, the people in your sphere, when you make content, are getting to know you. Yes. And they're still seeing it.
And I'm saying like there are 5-10 people who are regularly following me or like, and they are watching each and every content of me, and sometimes they appraise me, applaud me, or like tell me, okay, this is not right, this is not good, like say you could have said that in a different way or something. Like I was like, that's enough. I might not be able to handle too much right now.
Secondly, when you posted, that was you. That was authentic you. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anyone says. Be yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
It's a breath of fresh air, because I'll tell you what, that is not the common train of thought when people come talk to us, because they're trying to find shortcuts. Yeah. And if you try to find shortcuts online on anything, there's no shortcut. You're toast. Yeah. So
and to be honest, I went through that phase as well.
We all have. And it's not we're not here to say that we didn't go through that phase too. Yeah. But to recognize that when you're starting, it's about focusing on your sphere first. It's about not worrying about the numbers. Recognizing that in time, if you focus on the people that know you, your sphere, your relationship, slowly but surely that sphere begins to grow. Yeah. And that's what matters.
That's what matters. And that's exactly what happened. I started deviating my focus on not deviating, but like shifting my focus from online world to meeting more people. Yeah. The more I meet people, of course they ask, oh, what's your social tag? Where can we follow you? And let's follow each other, or like either share a LinkedIn account, or if it's way much professional, like for example, one of my top client, he's on my LinkedIn, and lately he started following me, following my posts on his social media.
And you're top of mind. You're staying top of mind.
Oh my God, I was like, now game is more strong. Yeah. I have to be even more conscious about how I'm representing myself, how I'm positioning myself in the market, and how authentically
you guys gotta be authentic.
Sharing my experiences, however I'm going through, and like. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing now.
Don't stop taking risks though.
Oh no.
I think listen.
I'm taking big risks.
Yeah, people once they find what works for them on social, whether it's Instagram or LinkedIn, they continue that. But the thing I told you earlier is the game changes daily. Yes. But 6 months from now, again, the audience isn't looking for the same thing they're looking for today. Yeah. So what works today isn't going to work 6 months from now. So keep taking risks and trying different content and seeing what works while still maintaining the strategy that gets you success, that you found gets you success. Create correct, we call it.
Like I am just, all I'm is like getting feedback that whatever you're doing good. So keep on doing.
Good.
So earlier I wasn't even getting that recognition. Yeah. Right? So I think like slowly and steadily, even like my regional director who hired me, like he's been watching my posts, my regional director, my division director, like they are like recognizing, okay, hey, she's the girl who's actually bringing presence on social media and what's going on, right?
But then they see the divide of what everyone else does, which is sell. And what you're doing, which is the authenticity.
I'm sharing experiences. I'm sharing the stories. I'm sharing like how I feel, what is my identity, how I am overcoming through my difficulties. Because coming from like completely salaried background and where my parents have never, they don't know anything about business world. They have never worked in a business.
So it's scary.
It's a lot of shift. Like there's a shift in the mindset. There's a shift
not in just for you, from your parents, from everyone around you.
There's a huge shift that just happened, and how I'm overcoming those and how I'm gaining more knowledge and expertise, and like, and side by side building two businesses. It's
crazy.
It's crazy, but it's amazing.
No, and it's amazing that you've seen that light, because it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's amazing that I couldn't believe myself I was able to do that. and I'm doing it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the power.
Yeah.
It's the power of online. It's also the power of what anyone can do if you set your mind to it.
Yeah, that's so true.
I love it. So then on the other side, I know you're always out doing events. You're at events, but also you're helping be part of some events in this city, right? Yes. So what event do you have next month that you were mentioning to me in our pre-notes?
I am doing my own event.
Yeah.
So it's called as Let's Talk to 2020 You.
Yeah.
So I made a very intriguing...
It's a good idea. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I made a very intriguing statement or caption to my event because, hey, are we really ready for 2020? It's a new decade. We're starting a new decade. We're entering into a new era. Who are you and how you want to perceive yourself in 2020? Let's talk about that.
I like it, and it's just so it's kind of your decade resolution time. It's time to see.
It's a fresh resolution. Start. Yeah, the last decade was a depression decade, from 2008 to 2018. It was all depression state, right? 2 years, this 2019 is like, okay, whatever we have done in the past, whatever has happened.
Yeah, we're plugging along.
Let's just call it a peace and let's figure it out what we're gonna do in the next decade. Technically, just that 2019 went like that.
Yeah.
That's why you see a lot of shift is happening. Like, so many events are happening, so many things are happening. Like, social media is changing, automation is happening, new startups are coming up. Like, you talk about the things. Like,
it's coming, yeah.
It's coming.
The disruption is there. There's no doubt. The decade of 2020 to 2030 is going to be a decade of disruption. There's no doubt. And whether people say that from 2000 to 2020 that was the time of disruption where we had the internet and we had social, I don't even think it's as powerful as what 2020 to 2030.
Yeah.
This next decade is going to be a level of disruption that we've never seen in this world before. Industries are going to crumble.
Yes.
I think retail's coming. We already saw it happen in so many industries.
It's all about sustainable living. It's all about conscious living. It's all about your mindset. It's all about how well do you know yourself.
I'll add a couple. Transparency. Businesses are going to be more transparent. And you said sustainable. I think that sustainable is going to be a huge part.
Yes.
I also think that over this next decade, everyone's going to get a little greener. I think we're going to find a way.
We have to
understand.
Find a way. Yeah. We have to find a way. This is going crazy. Like yesterday, like not even yesterday, a week ago, my toothpaste ran out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to buy a toothpaste, and I'm gonna change my brush. I don't want to buy a plastic brush at all anymore.
It was time.
It was time. Like, I want to buy a wooden brush that is reusable all the time, and I want to buy a toothpaste. I bought a Bees toothpaste, which is like not tested on animals, or like there is no sodium, whatever, fluoride or whatever it is. Normally
the clean
paste.
Products.
Like. Let's start from this. Let's start
and
from small little things.
I think that not only is it going to be a decade of disruption from companies and industries, it's also going to be people recognizing that every single person can make a difference.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's the power of what we're going to see, and it's amazing. It's amazing. To think about.
It's amazing. But yeah, like, I think now it's more about impact. Everybody is thinking about impact, how you're going to create an impact, not only in today's world, but how you're leaving your impact for future generation. Like, I just came from the biggest financial planning summit, which has happened in Quebec, right? It was is called as IG Apex Summit. I get the chance and I get the opportunity to meet with like top financial planners in the country. Like, met so many recognized people who are like millions and billions of dollars in the business, and like how they are built, how that is impacting, like change of social media and automation is how impacting their businesses from $360 million book of business to like $500 million.
And from the ground up, it's affecting.
And from the ground up, they are shifting too.
I think that in this, if we're going to term it decade of disruption, I think the one thing that everyone's going to recognize is they have to move quickly. Because when the disruption comes, if there's too much red tape and they can't move quick enough, then they are going to fizzle out and they are going to have a tough time coming back.
Yeah.
So any business out there has to be nimble enough. Obviously, you need structure.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, you need to be nimble enough to make decisions fast enough that you don't fall behind or lose market share for no reason.
Yeah.
Give up margin like we had seen in those other industries.
Oh yeah, that's what's happening in financial industry as well.
It's happening in almost every industry right now.
It's happening like for example, like earlier in the wealth planning industry, there used to be front load charges to deposit your money with the financial consultants, and there used to be a DSC fees if you withdraw the money, that you have to pay the money for that, administration fees. You talk about all of these.
The transparency wasn't there.
Yeah, it wasn't there.
No,
People get statements once or twice in a year, right?
Yeah.
And now they have shifted to 4 times in a year, to a point that they have to have an online presence in terms of having online accesses to the people. Right?
And
but still, there is still a lack of education. There is still lack of knowledge, expertise, and transparency in the financial industry.
It's going to change.
I am in this side of the world, so I have been on that side of the world. I've seen the banking world, and I can see the shift what's going on.
It's going to be dynamic, and it's not just financial industry. Every single industry is going to get more transparent. I think transparent and sustainable businesses are the future.
Yeah.
Any business starting right now, if you focus on transparency and sustainability, as well as have a strong online presence and build an audience, you can find success in the decades to come.
Yeah.
But it's important. Transparency, I often say, is number one, because I go so far as to say that businesses one day are going to be talking about their margins to clients. Everyone's going to know everything that's going on, and the reason for that is I just truly believe that the consumer always is going to go where they get the most value.
Right.
And at the end of the day, knowing and understanding and trusting and building a relationship with them is all that matters.
Yeah.
How you do that and how you step out to get that market share is going to translate. And there are companies out there. I bring up Everlane a lot in the United States. Clothing company started. They have overstock. You pick what you pay. They talk about where it's purchased and how they manufacture it, where it's getting manufactured. They tell you everything.
Right.
That's the future of business.
Yeah, that's the future of business. Yeah, that's true.
And that's a fantastic place.
I'm on the financial industry, so I can talk about this part of the world.
Oh, yeah.
Because every industry, no matter whatever you do, come back to money.
True. Yeah, true. It always comes around. And
it always comes around.
I guess that's a good place for us to stop and call it. Thank you, Komal, for coming out. This was a blast. How was it? Did you enjoy it?
Yes. Oh, it just happened?
Oh yeah, it just happened. We got through it. It's I find that now as we get going, time flies on these podcasts. As soon as we get started, by the time we finish, we don't realize that a whole hour is gone. And Omid Q has been telling me to try to I started where I wanted them all to be 30 minutes long.
Right.
And now the last couple I've done have been over 45, hour and a half, and I'm extending them. So he's trying to rein me back. He gave me a pep talk before today, and he said, "Don't go too long, Jared." So I'm trying to keep her together for him. And but no, they've been a blast, and this was awesome. You had some great points, and it's a breath of fresh air because I think you figured out that the value makes the difference, and the story, the emotions, and the problem solving that you offer is everything. Yeah. And keep doing that, because that's where everyone else is gonna be chasing you afterwards.
That's true. I just wanted to be a part of this and get my voice out there. That's it. That's all I wanted to do.
We're gonna get it out.
Yeah.
We're gonna get this posted, and we'll get it out there.